Hello, and welcome back to the abode of unity. Happy to have you. Happy to be here. Today, I want to talk about something that has led to every single advancement in human history, while at the same time creating every single form of suffering imaginable. And this mysterious thing goes by the name of imagination, a conscious tool we have as humans that arguably separates us as a species from the animal kingdom entirely. With great power comes great responsibility. This is roughly what Uncle Ben tells Peter in Spider-Man right before he dies. Spoilers. And I believe that we're given this enormous gift, or great power, if you will, called imagination. But as we grow up, we're not given an awareness or responsibility towards this superpower. And that's because the people around us were also not taught the significance of this gift. And this has led to a vicious cycle of misuse, creating self-suffering and consequently world suffering. The solution then to end all of world suffering is a pretty simple one, and that is not letting our imaginations become an action, or worse, turn into compulsive behavior. When I say imaginations here, I'm not talking about the ones where you want to create infinite free energy, because that would be a lovely imagination to take action on. I'm talking about the ones that don't have yourself or others in mind, usually imaginations that are fueled by fear, anger, jealousy, etc. While this solution may be simple, to end all of world suffering, it's very apparent that it's not as easy to be put to use. And this is the reason why I'm making this video, or any other video I make really. I want to spread awareness on simple solutions to problems that seem impossible to solve. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all one species. But we usually don't act like we are. We act like we're completely different beings from one another. And we like to put up imaginative walls to make sure that we separate ourselves from the people over there. Well, whoever those people are, they're just that, people, like you and me. So then, how can we stop, let's say, our negative imaginations from turning into action and causing harm to oneself and others? Well, I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all answer to this. And I actually think this is where the great mystery of life comes into play, where every answer to every problem is within each individual, and it's up to us on how we get to our unique answer. But that would defeat the purpose of humanity itself, which is when we come together, we advance quicker. So instead of ending the video here and saying best of luck on finding your answer, I'd like to show you what roots and vines I had to cut to then research to make my own path. Or in other words, I'd like to share some personal experience and advice with imagination on how it's hurt and helped me. And through this and the similarities we share, will shed light on how together as a species we can start to take responsibility of this great power called imagination.
Okay, now do it! Do it!
To start off, I'll share the bad so that we can end with the good. And with that, just while writing the ideas and recording for this very video, my imagination made me question myself at least a dozen times. I would get a creative block like, what should I say next? And as soon as there was any hesitation or long pauses, the imagination would kick in. What if this doesn't sound good? This won't look good on YouTube. I won't look good. And then I would imagine myself playing video games and not even making this video because I thought it would turn out bad. And not only would it turn out bad, but I used to often imagine myself not finishing any video because I thought it was a waste of time, even though my whole life I've wanted to share, inspire, and make people laugh, to be a YouTuber, whatever that means to be. But this is where things get a little deep. Because of these short-term fearful imaginations I had, I let them become a long-term reality. I started watching YouTube and playing video games around 2006. We're talking the classics here. Smosh, Negahiga, Gradual Report, some might know of him, RuneScape, Halo, Call of Duty, Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then a little later, pre-alpha Minecraft, PewDiePie, and the list just goes on. But back then, I was a little monka in the jungle, and I saw these YouTubers and the video games they were playing, and I was good at them. And so my only thought was that's gonna be me one day, with 1,000,000 subscribers. I started making skits and at least one video on any game that was popular. I was able to grow a decent sized gaming channel and a Minecraft server that actually made me a couple $100 each month. You know, just something light for a middle schooler. But I never stayed consistent with uploads and the server because one, I was just a kid having fun. I didn't really know what I had until it was gone. And two, I had this fearful imagination that I would get stuck in a box making videos on games or topics that I didn't enjoy anymore. Some years pass and high school rolls around, and all of a sudden everyone starts to get real serious about pushing this agenda of I better start thinking of career paths, what college I'm gonna go to, what I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm out of college and I still don't know what I want to be or do. But thankfully, there couldn't have been a more perfect timing, because in my junior year of high school, I had the greatest epiphany in my life still to this date. And not to get too much in detail, because I may make another video entirely on this moment, but basically, I went from playing video games to searching for enlightenment. Overnight, literally. All I did for the next 2 years was research and work on the elevation of our species video that's on my channel now, and I thought, through this journey, I'll create videos and become a spiritual YouTuber. Finally, this is my calling. Instead of gaming, I'll make educational videos, which by the way, in present day, I not only make these type of videos, but I also have 2 other channels, one being for gaming, because I'm still the gaming warlord titan wizard Juicer, and the other being for reactions, mostly to anime, because anime is life. I mean, just look at it! Anyways, back then, what I didn't see was the same fearful imagination I had in a different form, following me like a shadow. Maybe these videos I make aren't what I'm supposed to be doing in life. Maybe I'll get stuck making videos on topics I don't like anymore. A new WizeVibez had emerged from out of the water, but without realizing how to swim, was quickly pulled back under into the depths of lack of awareness and understanding. What's so ironical about all of this is the idea for this video would have not been imagined if I didn't go through the suffering I went through over the years because of my imagination. How poetic that I let this incredible human tool hurt and hinder me for so long just so I could use that same tool to understand why I hurt myself. And this is where the true beauty of our imagination shines. What may seem bad in the present is actually a gift for the future. And not only for the future, but I'd argue a gift for the present as well. The only reason we think a situation is bad is because we imagine it is. We have no less than 1,000,000 preconceived imaginations on how a situation should go.
Are you always this articulate?
Hercules. My name is Hercules.
I said I'd start with the bad and end with the good, but seeing what imagination has taught me, I don't think there was any bad to begin with. The difference from back then is now I've obtained an awareness, what I like to call a sacred key. This key is a knowing that at any moment, anywhere, you can imagine anything. And depending on how vivid and focused you are, this can rapidly change your emotional state, and in turn, your perspective of what's happening around you. You can literally create a new reality out of a situation that you didn't think was possible. This awareness has permanently shifted my life in a beautiful way, and I'm 1,000% confident it can do the same for you. There's 2 things I recommend doing to help strengthen the power of this sacred key. The first is simply practice. I always thought of myself as an optimistic person, but as I've become more aware of my imagination, I noticed that usually my first initial reaction to hearing something new was a pessimistic one. When something like this happens, you have to immediately take your focus off of that negative imagination and then put your focus into imagery that is of your liking. And again, practice, practice, practice. The cool thing is, the only thing you need to practice this is yourself. The second thing will massively improve the first thing as well as your life overall. This would be meditation. There's many different styles of meditation you can do depending on what suits you best. I actually have a video on a variety of meditations you can try, but by meditating, you'll eliminate any initial pessimism, and the mind will start to effortlessly create that imagery that is of your liking. If we are a tree, then meditation would be the water. It's a necessity for our growth as a human being. I always imagined myself as a famous YouTuber, but I was never able to stay truly consistent because I was too busy imagining what it would look like. When our imagination creates big dreams, it also usually creates big doubts. And the doubts that I created were enough to stop me from taking action. I'm here to say, please, don't let the doubts you have stop you from taking action. And by pushing through and taking responsibility of our imagination, the doubts will cease to exist, and our reality will become something beyond magical. I'd like to tell you a short fable. One I think will emphasize how powerfully connected our imagination is with our reality and emotions. It's about a time when I fell down a rabbit hole and arrived in what seemed like a wonderland. Yes, this actually happened with the help of some mushrooms I took. I was in my backyard at the time that looks like something out of the movie The Jungle Book, and I was standing about 10 feet away from the largest tree there. And I was just staring intensely at the tree, and all of a sudden, the canopy, the huge leaves, the vines hanging, and the moss growing around the tree trunk all started to morph into one massive wooden beam. And then a sail appeared, and the vines turned into ropes swinging in the wind. I looked around, and I was no longer on land, but on a pirate ship in the middle of the ocean. I could see distant islands, and this feeling of exploration washed over me. I started to become a literal embodiment of Luffy from One Piece. I wanted to see if I had his power, so I charged my arm back, and I started to run, and then I jumped and punched. And as I did so, I felt this amazing vibratory rush over my whole body, like all the atoms were awakening and dancing. This gave me the deepest belly laugh one can imagine, and I started rolling on the ground, crying from how much I was laughing. This is one of the few times where I truly felt what it was like being a kid again, and all of this because of my imagination. And some mushrooms. With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Much love, peace, and abundance to you, baby. And I'll see ya in my next adventure, aka my next video. Okay. See ya. Yeah.